Hello, welcome back to another edition of Junkyard Hack. This is going to be a different sort of edition, and what I want to talk about is the demise, I guess you should say, of Roadkill and any of the channels associated with Roadkill. I think it's a Motor Trend on Demand or whatever, Motor Trend Discovery. I'm not sure exactly how it lines up, but anyway, the bottom line is the guys at Roadkill, Freiberger, Finnegan, Dulcich, and any of those other guys are not going to have their channels as they used to anymore. It's done after the season, I believe. And I want to put my 2 cents in on my feelings about that. I'm glad that they came about because during the early days of Roadkill, somebody turned me on to them when they did an episode about police cars. And I've always had Crown Vics since for about, I don't know, about, I want to say 15 years, more than that. Yeah, since 2005, I've pretty much had Crown Vics and got them from the auction and what have you. And I like Crown Vics, and they're tough cars, and last of the dying breed of full frame V8 rear wheel drive cars on the Panther platform, the Ford Panther platform. So yeah, I like them and so forth. But anyway, somebody turned me on to an episode where they're doing a shootout between a Crown Vic and a Caprice, 93 Caprice versus a 2008 Crown Vic, something 2008, 2009 Crown Vic, something like that. Anyway, it's on YouTube, and I followed them when they were on YouTube, and I even switched over and paid for it when it was on Motor Trend on Demand. But what they did was those guys got me into, I should say got me back into, because I'm older, I'm 60 now, so I'm not your normal teenage kid that those guys are shooting after. I'm an older guy, and I tinker with cars here and there, but never really more than replacing a part like a alternator starter, put a set of plugs in, something like that. Never did anything really serious with a car. A little bit of body work here and there. I painted one sloppily a couple times in the backyard, but that's about it. They're the ones that got me into really tearing down, getting into an engine, swapping an engine, doing that. Never done that before. And those guys gave me confidence. Freiberger's mantra was, don't get it right, just get it running. And that gave us all the ability to just say the hell with it. Even if it doesn't look good, I'm going to get it on the road and get it running and be happy driving it around. And it's a cool old car. So let me show you some of the cars I have now and talk a little bit about them, and as far as the how it relates to Roadkill. Anybody who follows my channel has seen a lot of this car. I'm presently working on this one. This is my 1960 Chevy Biscayne four-door sedan. Not a very desirable model, but I like it because of the cool factor. It's just so different. I like the wraparound windshield. I like the way the roof line goes. They make this in a flat top version, and which is more popular, the four-door flat top, because it's pillarless, and people like that, and it has a wraparound rear glass. But I personally like the way the roof line on this one goes. Just my opinion, and it's not a very popular opinion, but there it goes. Well, my favorite feature of these cars, the 59 and 60s, is this rear gull wing, the gull wing rear that they have. Now, personally, I like the 59s better because they have the cat eye design and all like that. But the bottom line is I bought this car out of a junkyard in Texas, Denton, Texas, from CTC Auto. I paid $2,000 for it. It had a 6-cylinder in it that was locked up, 3-speed manual transmission, no interior at all, and nothing as far as headlights were broken out, taillights were broken out. The steering column was not installed. It was with it, but not installed. The linkage for the shift was not installed. The stick shift was not installed. And it came with, let me go through my messy garage. I'll show you the engine it came with because I still have it. Oh, this back here. You see that blue? That's the remnants of the engine it had. It was a 235 6-cylinder, and I pulled it out with the intention of actually rebuilding it. I don't know why. I don't know why I didn't intend on using it in the car, but I was going to rebuild it just for shits and giggles, but whatever. It sits here. I might get to it, I might not. I might give it away. I don't know. Anyway, had some problems. As you see, it's got a replaced freeze plug. The head, this is another head that I put on there. The old head had a crack in it that I JB welded, and I got another head for it and put it on there. I had intended on using that for a little while, and somewhere in that box, at the bottom of that box, is a 3-speed manual transmission. I'm not sure. I don't think it's a Muncie, but it's whatever 3-speed transmission they had at the time. Little bitty thing. Anyway, so that was locked up, and I got it running and fixed it up enough, repaired everything enough to where I could drive it. I think there's a video of me driving this with a 6-cylinder, and it's smoking like crazy. It had bad rings, obviously, or whatever, but it was smoking like crazy. But the bottom line is, how this relates to roadkill is, these roadkill guys gave me the confidence to get this engine running, unlocked, and running, and not necessarily running right, but running, and, you know, take this car for a drive. And I did. I got this car driving. I think I had a wheel and a tire with a board across it as a seat, and I fixed the linkage enough to where I had first gear and reverse, and I took this thing around the block and, you know, smoked out the neighbors, but I drove it. And as you see right now, it's got a small block Chevy in it. My brother-in-law and I bought a junkyard, this engine here, this junkyard small block Chevy. It's got a Chinese carburetor. It's got a used Edelbrock intake, 4-barrel intake on it. Aftermarket air cleaner assembly, new wires and everything like that. I put Ram's horn. It didn't originally come with Ram's horn exhaust manifolds. I wanted Ram's horn exhaust manifolds. I'm not trying to do headers or anything like that, but the bottom line is, I had enough confidence after watching those guys to say, yeah, I can do this. It's an easy swap. I've seen them swap engines out before, no problem. They had no problem. Well, not no problem, but it wasn't the daunting task that I always thought my whole life. It was a, you know, miserable, daunting task that, you know, nobody would want to try to do. And I did it. Well, my brother-in-law and I did it, I should say. I should give him the credit because he's experienced in this as well and come out and help me. And between the two of us, we got this engine in here, mounted up to another junkyard TH Turbo 350 transmission, and didn't worry about whether it worked or not. Just bought it, rolled the dice, and screw it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, we'll fix it. And again, because of those guys, I just had that confidence, and it did. It worked. Got it running and driving. I can drive it now. It goes. Top speed is about 60 miles an hour because it tacks out at that. The rear end is probably way too low, but this car is now running and driving, stopping. I put brakes on it and everything like that. So anyway, that's the story on this. Still working on it. I'm going to paint it, probably give it a backyard paint job. Torn between red and black. Black would look really cool with the white top. I'm talking about flat black. This is two bodies too jacked up for gloss black. And yeah, the dents and everything like that that I have in it, I'm not going to take them out because they're not that bad enough. They're, as far as I'm concerned, it's character. Anyway, big purchase is going to be a new windshield. That's only so I can pass inspection, get tags for it. Well, proper tags. That's another story. Anyway, another vehicle I have is this pickup truck. I really didn't do much of anything to this truck here. I bought this on eBay, sight unseen, from a guy I know, another YouTuber named Griff Parker. Now, Griff Parker, I just did a video about him where I bought a windshield from him, my last video. This is one of the most honest guys I've ever dealt with. He advertised the thing on eBay. Didn't even know it was him, but I had followed his channel. And he advertised it for what it was. You know, it's a used, old, 78 Ford pickup truck with a 306 cylinder and a 3-speed with overdrive transmission that had been replaced, swapped out. It was originally a 3-speed on the column. Well, now it's a 3-speed with overdrive on the floor. It was same color, anything else like that. The only difference was that the wheels were different. It had big mud tires on it and chrome wagon wheel rims. I didn't like them, so I went back to the original rims on that. Another thing too is it was manual steering, so it had a little aftermarket steering wheel. Changed that out to a big steering wheel so it can be easy to steer. So bought this truck sight unseen, North Carolina. I live in Delaware. We're talking about 6-hour drive. Not much for most people watching this channel, but a little bit. You know, you don't want to be stranded or anything like that. Bought this car from my wife and I went down. We made a day trip out of it, or an overnight out of it. Got us a hotel, picked this truck up, drove it back to the hotel. Next day, drove it home. No problems at all, not a bit. It was cold, it was January, the truck was cold inside, but other than that, it ran like a charm. The overdrive was sensational. It runs 70 miles an hour all day long without even breathing heavy. Starts up all the time, runs great, never an issue, never a hitch. Now right now it needs probably needs a head. Actually, it needs the engine rebuilt. The two of the cylinders have low compression on them. One has 60 psi, one has 90. Has low compression on 2 cylinders. So I say it's it's actually a 4.5 cylinder engine. But anyway, it still starts and runs, and as you see, we have trash in the back. We use it for dump runs and what have you. So she's still in service and all like that. But yeah, Griff Parker, I bought this truck off of, and again, Roadkill gave me the confidence to say, screw it, buy something, get out there, go for it, and drive it home and have an adventure. And that's what we did. We had an adventure. Fortunately, not unfortunately, we didn't break down. But if we broke down, it would have been an adventure, and that's the way you got to look at things. It's an adventure. It's you plan for these things. You have enough money set aside for these things. If it breaks down, you go to U-Haul. You get a U-Haul, tow it home, and you fix it. So these guys at Roadkill, they gave me the confidence to do that. Before, I didn't have that confidence. I would have never done that. But yeah, this is what the car hobby is. Last but not least, most definitely not least, was the first old car I bought. Again, bought this on eBay, sight unseen, and the guy advertised it as a run and drive. All the mechanicals were done. It just needed a lot of body work and what have you. So I went there, looked at the car, paid the guy for the car. It was in Pennsylvania, about a 4-hour trip away from me in western Pennsylvania. And a little town called Ono. If you want to look that up. Ono, Pennsylvania. Anyway, bought this car from him, and I think I give, at the time, $2,500 for this car. This is back, I'm going to say about 7 years ago, 8 years ago. I don't know. No, it was more than 8 years ago, because Obama was president, and we just had elections, and it was before Trump was president the first time. So anyway, that being said, bought that car coming up on 10 years, I guess. We'll just say that, about 10 years or so. And I had been watching Roadkill, and they gave me the confidence. They gave me the confidence to first buy a car. Now, this car was advertised as a runner-driver, and I figured I'd start small and do, the little bit of the body work and what have you. But when I got there, they started the car up, and I noticed it had a really bad valve tap. Now, I looked into the reason why it had a valve tap, and it wasn't the rockers were out of adjustment, because you can't adjust these rockers in this big block engine. It had a bad cam and lifters. And when I got it home, I had it shipped. I didn't drive it, I had it shipped, because I wasn't confident enough to drive it home in the condition it was. I had, when I went to get it, I had my 2 daughters with me, and I didn't want to break down and what have you, but I just didn't have the confidence at the time to do that. So I paid some guy to ship it, or to haul it for me, brought it back home, started it up, drove it with the bad lifters and cam, and I put snake oil stuff in there that you get from AutoZone for whatever to stop the noise and what have you, and it worked a little bit, but essentially you're just, you know, prolonging the inevitable. But anyway, watching Roadkill gave me the confidence to dig into this, and what started it was I had a sticky needle and seat on the carburetor. The old carburetor was on there. It had a 2-barrel carburetor at the time, and so it caused a little fire on the top of the engine. And luckily I had an extinguisher, or had access to an extinguisher, and I put it out. Didn't damage too much of the top of the engine, but some of the wires were damaged. So I had it towed home, and I decided, well, better time than never to start tearing into this. And again, because of Roadkill, I had the confidence to do that. I didn't ship it off to have it done. I didn't, you know, get rid of the car because of it. I just said, I'm going to fix it. And meanwhile, while I had the car, before I even messed with the engine, I looked at the body work, and some of the dents were pretty bad, some weren't. It had a lot of Bondo in it, and time went on, I found fenders for it, and I think Griff Parker, the guy I told you about before I bought the pickup truck from, he had a Galaxy, and the whole entire front of this car, with the exception of the bumper, is from Griff Parker, one of Griff Parker's cars that he bought. I bought that from the hood, the 2 fenders, everything, the core support, everything except the bumper is from Griff Parker. Super nice guy, super reasonable, gave me a deal on that stuff. So I painted it black, rolled it with a roller, sanded it down, then I sprayed it with Rust-Oleum satin black. I played around with just tinkering with it here and there and changing the tires out. I had mag wheels on it at one point. These are cop car tires. It's 2002 Crown Vic tires, and hubcaps and beauty rings I put on there, and that's pretty much how I roll now. I like those, that combination, the best for this car. But getting back to the engine, I would have never had the confidence to break into this engine and fix it. So that's what I did. It was during the fall of one year when it had that fire. I just decided to tear into it, and you watch a lot of YouTube videos. Got the book out. I have an old Chilton manual that I went through and got everything out, and I didn't pull the engine out. I just worked on it in the car. Pulled the entire front of it off, the intake manifold off, pulled the rockers out, got the entire front of it off, the timing chain, everything else like that off of it. Pulled the camshaft and lifters out, and with this car here, you can pull the camshaft and lifters without removing the grill. It's that much room in here to do that. So I pulled the camshaft and lifters out, found out that I had 3 really, really bad lifters and 3 really, really bad lobes on the camshaft that were corresponding to those lifters. So it was in pretty, really, really bad shape, and that was indicative of the lack of power that I had with this car. And I knew the 390 had a lot more power than this was giving me. So anyway, did a little bit of research, got me a Melling RV cam to put in there, threw some lifters in there that went with the cam, put it back together. And again, never did this before in my life, never tore into an engine like that. Just basically replaced a part here and there, and that's it. So the guys from Roadkill are responsible for that. So I am 60 years old. I've been really into this hobby for the last 10 years, and it's all because of Roadkill. And the funny thing about that is my dad, being poor, growing up in the latter part of the Depression and being in World War II, and after World War II was dirt poor, and he essentially did Roadkill out of necessity. So it's, ironic that happens, but that's the way things go. So, but anyway, I want to commend the guys from Roadkill for getting me back into the car hobby, and breathing a little bit of life into it and everything like that with the younger guys and what have you. Sad to see them go, but I know that they have a future on YouTube. These guys aren't going away. It just they might be on a different platform. So do them a favor, do yourself a favor. Go look for Fryburger on YouTube. Go look for Finnegan on YouTube, Dulcich on YouTube. Subscribe, like their stuff, share, whatever. Help support these guys because they're the pioneers. They are definitely the pioneers. So anyway, that's all I got to say on that. And you go have yourself a great day and get out there and get the wrenching. Take care. Bye.